Imagine it's December. The cold tightens its grip, the days shrink, and your body starts asking for something strange. Not normal sleep, a deep, ancient need to shut down, to stop eating, to stop drinking, to enter a state where your heart beats 10 times a minute and your body temperature drops by 10 degrees. Imagine getting into bed in November and waking up in March, without having eaten, without having gone to the bathroom, without having aged almost at all. And the most incredible part, you wake up healthier than when you started. This isn't science fiction. This is what bears do every winter. And the question we're going to answer today is inevitable. What if humans could hibernate like them? Let's find out. According to science. Welcome to What If Science. Before we hibernate a human, we have to understand how a bear hibernates. Because what a bear does is not simply sleeping. It's a radical biological transformation. During hibernation, a bear's heart goes from beating 80 times a minute to just 10. Its breathing slows to a tenth of normal. Its body temperature drops 5 to 7 degrees. It stops eating. It stops drinking. It stops urinating. It stops defecating. For months. If a human tried this without proper preparation, they would die within days. First from dehydration, then from starvation, then because their heart couldn't handle the strain of pumping cold, thickened blood. But the bear doesn't just survive. It comes out the other side, almost intact. How does it do it? The first key is fat. A grizzly bear can store up to 20 kilos of fat before winter. But it's not ordinary fat. It's a metabolically active tissue that releases energy in a controlled way for months. It's like carrying a backpack of batteries that recharge themselves. The second key is muscle. A human who spent 5 months in bed would wake up with brutal muscle atrophy. They wouldn't be able to walk. Their legs would be toothpicks. The bear, on the other hand, wakes up with its muscles practically intact. Scientists still don't fully understand how, but it seems their body recycles waste proteins and reuses them to maintain tissues. It's like lifting weights while sleeping. The third key is the most fascinating. Bears don't go to the bathroom for months. Where do all the burned calories go? Where does the waste go? Their body reabsorbs urea and converts it into new proteins. They literally feed on their own waste. A perfect closed-loop recycling system that no human engineer has been able to replicate. But let's go a step further. Imagine that one day, science manages to induce hibernation in humans. It's not a crazy fantasy. NASA has been researching it for years. Why? Because a trip to Mars takes between 6 and 9 months. If astronauts could hibernate, they would consume less oxygen, less water, less food. The spacecraft could be smaller. And, most importantly, they wouldn't go crazy from boredom. Researchers have already started with animals that don't hibernate. Rats, pigs, even primates. In a 2023 study, a team at the University of Tsukuba managed to induce a hibernation-like state in mice by activating a specific group of neurons in the hypothalamus. Mice that don't hibernate, they simply lower their body temperature, reduce their metabolism, and put them in a state of controlled torpor. When they woke up, they had no after effects. The next step is non-human primates. If it works in them, the leap to humans is just a matter of time. Let's talk now about the medical applications. Because hibernation wouldn't just serve to travel to Mars. It would save lives right here on Earth. Imagine a person suffering a heart attack. The heart stops. The brain starts dying from lack of oxygen. Doctors have minutes, sometimes seconds, to act. But if they could induce a state of hibernation in that person, the metabolism would slow down. The brain would consume less oxygen. The damage would stop. And doctors would have hours, not minutes, to operate. This technique is called therapeutic hypothermia, and it's already used in some hospitals, but it's rudimentary. You lower the body temperature from 37 to 33 degrees, and by a few hours. But with full hibernation, you could drop it to 25 degrees and by weeks. Months, perhaps. It would be like putting someone on pause, like freezing time inside their body. But let's not stop at emergencies. What would happen to everyday life if hibernation were safe and voluntary? The first thing that would change is winter. Millions of people hate it. The cold, the darkness, the flu, the seasonal sadness. What if you could skip it? from November to March, hibernating. No heating bills, no colds, no putting chains on the car. It would be the greatest productivity hack in history. You work 9 months a year and rest for 3. Of course, the whole world can't hibernate at once. We need doctors, police officers, electricians. So hibernation would be a luxury at first, or a shift system. 3 months on duty while the rest sleep. Like a civilization divided into summer and winter. Now the dark side, because hibernating has consequences almost no one thinks about. The first is psychological. Waking up and discovering that 5 months have passed is a shock. People will have changed. Your children will have grown up without you. Your friends will have lived things you didn't share. And on top of that, you'd wake up with elections already held, with wars started or ended, with someone else in your job. Hibernation isolates you from the flow of life. The second is social. If hibernation becomes common, the rich would hibernate in luxury clinics and the poor at home with a low-cost kit. A new inequality would arise, time inequality. Hibernators live longer because their bodies wear out less. Literally, they extend their life by reducing their metabolism. Can you imagine? A 40-year-old who has hibernated a third of their life has the biological age of a 30-year-old. The gap between hibernators and non-hibernators would be abysmal. The third is the most unsettling. If you hibernate a third of the year, you age a third less. A life of 80 years could stretch to 100, 110, who knows? Hibernation would be the fountain of youth, and everyone would want to drink from it. But let's go to something fascinating. What if hibernation isn't something we learn, but something we remember? There's a scientific theory that says our ancestors already hibernated. Yes, you heard right. Early hominids, hundreds of thousands of years ago, lived in very cold climates with scarce food. Some anthropologists believe they entered a state of metabolic torpor to survive the winter. In fact, in the fossil bones of some hominids, marks have been found similar to those left by hibernation in bears. Interrupted growth cycles, seasonal stress, bone damage consistent with months of inactivity. There's no scientific consensus yet, but if that theory is true, it would mean that hibernation is not an alien superpower. It's a forgotten inheritance, a switch that evolution turned off millennia ago, but which might still be there, dormant in our DNA. And if that's the case, the question is no longer whether we can hibernate. It's why we stopped. Let's end with an image. A hospital room in the year 2040. A patient comes in with severe head trauma. Doctors inject a synthetic compound that activates the hypothalamus neurons. Their body temperature drops to 25 degrees. Their metabolism slows by 90%. The machines hum softly. Surgeons operate without rush. No hemorrhages. No additional brain damage. 2 weeks later, the patient wakes up. They don't remember anything. They didn't dream anything. For them, 5 minutes have passed. They ask the nurse what day it is. She smiles and tells them the date. They blink. But it was Tuesday, they murmur. That's hibernation, not a trick of nature, not a sci-fi fantasy. A medical tool, a social revolution, and perhaps an evolutionary memory waiting to be awakened. Bears already know it, and maybe very soon we will too. If this video made you think, imagine what's coming next. Subscribe and hit the bell. At What If Science, we don't just ask impossible questions. We answer them with real science. Would you hibernate if you could? Or do you prefer to face the cold wide awake? I'll read your comments.